Oh man, so LeBron James has released a podcast that he will be doing with JJ Redick moving forward. It's a podcast where they just talk about ball. That's it. It's called Mind the Game Pod. Now, people are talking about it. They were reacting to it. You had Draymond Green kind of salty because LeBron hasn't come on his podcast yet, but it's LeBron's own podcast. We'll get to that later, but one person who's really upset is Dr. Umar Johnson. He's pissed off with LeBron for doing this podcast with JJ Redick because obviously he's a white guy. We're going to get to what Umar had to say, but first let me show y'all a snippet from JJ's and LeBron's pod, and they're talking about Steph Curry right here.
Think back to early in your career. I came in the league in 06, 07. I played no minutes my first 2 years.
Yeah.
But you know what? If we had a 19-point lead going into the fourth, I might get all 12 minutes of garbage time.
For sure.
People would clear their benches.
Yeah, for sure.
This was 15 years ago.
For sure.
People would clear their benches with a 17-point lead in the
Yeah.
fourth and 9 minutes to go.
For sure.
You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore. You know why? Because I believe in 08, 09, or whenever that little light-skinned fucker came in the league that's in Golden State, he changed that whole narrative. He did. He single-handedly changed the no lead is safe. It's like Pat Mahomes right now.
It's interesting you bring up Steph because I think there's
Love that guy.
a long history of
Steph.
great players that have impacted the game. And you can see a lineage between different skill sets, right? Michael to Kobe, right? You can see that.
Yep.
I don't know that there's been a player that has influenced the game more than Steph. And you can certainly point to like Harden for sure in that era, Damian Lillard for sure, but you're right, it started with Steph.
When it comes to influence, since I've been watching the game, the most influence on the game, and obviously we know what Mike did for the game.
Sure.
You know, Steph and Allen Iverson are the two biggest influential guys in our game since I've been watching and covering it, you know. One, they're 6'3", 6'4", if you want to.
Steph's not 6'4".
If you want to look on the back of a basketball card, you know, you're always a lot taller on the back of the basketball card. You know, Allen Iverson and Steph, they were just so relatable, and kids felt like they could be them. They were guys that was not always counted on. They were small in stature, and they just define the odds.
Okay, so like I told y'all, this rollout has pissed Dr. Umar Johnson off, and he's on his Instagram going off, bro. So he says, no disrespect and much respect to LeBron James. He is a great father and a terrific athlete. However, in the spirit of self-determination and black excellence, why couldn't you find one of our brothers or sisters to pair up with for this podcast? Given who you are, I'm trying to understand the need to go outside of our community for this. Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp is your biggest supporter. Hey, I wasn't expecting that. This is the first time reading this. I mean, why not team up with him? This move makes no sense at all. What has this man done for you or us to earn this opportunity? Shaking my damn head. Now, let's look at some of the comments on this post right here, because these comments kind of set Umar off. It kind of pissed him off even more. So this person right here says, Bron has a pod with black folks. He put on all his black brothers from high school to be millionaires. Keep it balanced, dog. They have no loyalty to the black community. Textbook sellouts. Man, LeBron has been putting his black brothers and sisters on for his whole career. Going with JJ is an incredibly smart move because JJ is respected as the best podcaster in the NBA media. This show is going to be so good. Shannon doesn't have a sufficient basketball IQ for this. Okay, this is a reach. This pod is a breath of fresh air, and it isn't opinion-based. For goodness sakes, LeBron James opened a whole school back in Ohio. Looking at these comments is the perfect example of why Umar says that MLK Jr. wouldn't be able to reach most of modern black America. Why not go for Wade or Carmelo? They know basketball. But like I said, these things piss Umar off with people giving him pushback for his comments on LeBron doing his pod with JJ Redick. So in another post, Umar says this right here. Hashtag unapologetic. Please don't get upset with me when I block you from my social media. I can no longer tolerate the Negropian consciousness that predominates within the black community. We are at war for our survival. Anytime one of us has an opportunity to help someone, it needs to be kept in-house. Y'all pulled the same nonsense when Deion turned his back on Jackson State University, and now a bill has been introduced into the Mississippi State Legislature to try and close that HBCU, along with Alcorn State University and possibly others. HBCU St. Augustine University NC just lost its accreditation due to racism. Many other HBCUs will be soon to follow. HBCU Howard University Medical School is now being told they cannot consider the race of applicants or they can be sued for reverse racism. LeBron James has no business joining that man's podcast. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of black basketball players, active and retired, with whom he could build a podcast. I don't want to hear about the shop. Those are mostly one-time guests with LeBron in charge. When you operate a podcast, you're sharing control with the same co-host every single show. He could have turned any of our young people on with a podcast. You don't need any credentials to operate a podcast. He could have turned to some college hoopers or fellow black NBA stars. I'm not accepting any excuses when I block you from my IG. Do not slide into my DMs as you've been doing, begging me to allow you back on my platform. That's the price you pay for your coonish impulsivity. Hey boy, Umar. That man is good at this character. Not saying that's not true to him, but staying true to this character, he leans into that shit, boy. Someone say he a stand-up comedian, low key, with the way he be going that shit. Like, say for instance, I seen him going off on Shannon Sharp recently.
I want to ask Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, and Shannon Sharp a few clarifying questions. So let me get this right. Black girls called you ugly? So do you want me to believe that the white girls called you handsome? The black girls called you ugly. So you want me to believe that the white girls called you handsome? If the black girls called you ugly, I'm damn sure the white girls didn't call you handsome. Because guess who taught the black girls that dark skin was ugly? The white girls taught them that. So if the black girls called you ugly, I can only imagine what the white girls called you. So stop making excuses for your bunny hopping and just admit you hate yourself, and that's why you're dating and marrying outside the race.
Hey man, like I told y'all, Umar gonna stand 10 toes behind what he believe in, and I guess you gonna respect it, bro. You could disagree, but you're gonna respect it, man. And when you are in that position, people gonna try so many different ways to discredit you from the way you be speaking, especially when you speak so absolute in the way that he does. I respect his opinion. Some things I share, some things I don't. You know, that's the best things about being humans, individuals. You can have your own thoughts. You don't have to follow everything someone says blindly, but many things that he does say about the black community and how we should be on point with each other, I agree on. But I do think that this podcast is going to be entertaining because I seen one clip that looked like these dudes speaking Spanish about basketball. I think I could learn more about basketball, the X's and O's from this podcast and trying to correlate the things that JJ and LeBron talk about and watch basketball from a different lens with those things. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm gonna go ahead and get the body here though. This is another update with Stace. Yo.
I must say I am a little upset that LeBron James is like going on a podcast and he still haven't been on the Draymond Green show. But when it's your own thing, you kind of can't say anything. So I guess I'll live with it for now. Pick the bone with him that I got to pick with him later.